أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين بالقاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before I begin, just a quick announcement. Many of you probably received the email that tonight's speaker will be Dr. Sadiq Qasim. Unfortunately, due to missing a flight, he wasn't able to make it here tonight. So I am your speaker for this evening. I was actually scheduled to be speaking at Imam Ali, but I'm here just to fill in. So I'm sorry for those of you who are wishing to listen to Dr. Qasim. Unfortunately, you'll have to make do with me, and I know it's not fair to you guys, so I apologize in advance. The other announcement I just want to make is that generally on Fridays we have English programs, and they're usually organized by the YMA, so the Young Muslim Association. Brother Ali, if you could stand up that way they know who you are. Those who are interested in receiving emails about upcoming youth events, both here at the masjid and also outside the masjid, and other English language related events, the YMA sends out email notifications for that. And if anyone would like to be added to the email list, please talk to Brother Ali Salam here, or you can contact the YMA through the Facebook. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Okay, so inshallah tonight I'm going to speak a bit about Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi afdal salatu wassalam. There's a book written by one of our ulama, Sayyid Shirazi. It's called Ali fil Quran, and here he compiled over 500 verses of Holy Quran that are related to Amir al-Mu'mineen, both from Shia and Sunni sources. And I wanted to go over just a few of them. I'm not going to obviously be able to go over 500 verses, but I will try to go over some of these verses to give you a better understanding, inshallah, of the maqam, of the level of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Before I even do that though, just to give you an understanding of what it means for somebody to have a characteristic described in Quran. This is not like when you or I give somebody a characteristic. This is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives somebody a characteristic. It's very different. It's very different. And let me try to illustrate a point here. In Quran, Allah talks about people who seek forgiveness in the mornings. This is mentioned in the Quran. This is a characteristic of some people. Some of us may think, okay, I wake up in the morning, I get this characteristic. I say, istighfar, Allah's talking about me. No. Imam Baqir alayhi salam, he mentioned that the people who have this characteristic, it comes to them if they pray Salat al-Layl for 1 year continuously without missing ever, and they're seeking Allah for forgiveness in the qunut of witr, the 1 rakat prayer in Salat al-Layl, and they don't even miss it at all for a year continuously, then they're the ones who can get this characteristic from Quran. So the characteristics of Quran are not given out arbitrarily. It's something which has to be earned in eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And just think about this for a moment, that Amir al-Mu'min Ali ibn Abi Talib, over 500 verses of Holy Quran praising his characteristics. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةِ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةِ وَارْكَعُوا مَعَ الرَّاكِعِينَ. And so establish the prayer and establish the zakat and make bowing, ruku, with those who make ruku. All of the companions, they would mention that this verse came down for just Amir al-Mu'mineen and Rasulullah. Because there was a time when nobody else was praying but them. Nobody on the earth was praying but them. And we have hadith, they mentioned that one time somebody came to Abu Talib. They said, we saw your nephew doing something strange. He was standing there and by the Kaaba, and there was a woman with him, and there was a young boy. And we saw them, they would bend over, then they would make sajda, and then they would get up, and he was describing them. He said, we've never seen such a thing before. He says, yes, this is Muhammad and his wife Khadija, and this is Ali ibn Abi Talib, my son. So Imam Ali has this honor. And Allah mentions also in Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ وَإِنَّهَا لَكَبِيرَةٌ إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِعِينَ. And Allah says, then seek help from patience, with patience and prayer. And this is something great except for those who are humble. And all the companions, they used to mention that there was nobody who had khushu, had humility in the prayer, but Rasulullah and Ali ibn Abi Talib. Then you're talking about Ali ibn Abi Talib. As we know the story, Imam Ali alayhi salam has an arrow in his ankle. They can't pull it out. They have to wait till he goes to Salat. Because he leaves this world. We have hadith about Rasulullah just to understand the prayer of these people. Companions, they used to mention, when we saw Rasulullah come to the prayer, we would hear a noise coming from his chest. He became so frightened of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they said, we swear it sounded like when you boil a pot. He said, this is the noise we used to hear coming from Rasulullah when he would come and stand for the salah. إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِعِينَ, except for those who are humble. And at the beginning of the verse, وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ, and they used to mention Ali ibn Abi Talib. Anytime there was a difficulty, he used to stand up. Anything that happened that was a hardship, he would recite this verse, وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. Then he would go and he would pray. Seek help from prayer and patience. And they mentioned one of the Imams that told us, Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, that here, sabr, one of the meanings of sabr, patience, in this verse is fasting. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, also from Surah Al-Baqarah. الَّذِينَ يَذْنُونَ عَنْهُمْ وَلَاقُوا رَبَّهُمْ وَأَنْهُمْ إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. And he says, Allah says, and there are some people, they are certain, they know that they will meet their Lord. And they will return to Him. And companions used to mention, this verse came down for Ali and his Shia. That they were the people that they were certain for sure. They had yaqeen that they will go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's another honor for Amir al-Mu'mineen. And they mentioned that it was said, when this verse came down, it was mentioned specifically, it came down for Ali ibn Abi Talib and a group of his companions. And it was Miqdad, Ammar, Salman, and Uthman ibn Ma'zoom. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentions this verse. And when He's addressing the story of Bani Israel, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَإِذْ قُلْنَا أَدْخُلُوا هَذِهِ الْقَرْيَةِ فَأْكُلُوا مِنْهَا حَيْثُ شِئْتُمْ رَغْدًا وَأَدْخُلُوا الْبَابَ سُجَّدًا وَقُولُوا حِتَّةً. And so Allah says, He's talking about what happened with Nabi Musa and Bani Israel. And He says, He told them, enter into the city. when you enter into the city, eat and take freely from the city. But you have to enter into a certain door, and you have to enter into that door making sajda and saying hitta, we submit. What happened at this story, those who know this story, and Quran mentions in the next verse, that the people of Bani Israel, when they went through the door, instead of saying hitta, they were saying hinta. They were making fun of what Nabi Musa was saying, as a joke, and they didn't want to listen to this. And we have hadith that Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wassalam and Amir al-Mu'mineen, they are the boat of Noah, Safinat al-Nuh, and they are the Bab al-Hitta. That Allah, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested the people of Bani Israel by making them go through this gate, He tested the Muslims by making them go through the door of Ali ibn Abi Talib. أَنَا مَدِينَةُ الْعِلْمِ وَعَلِيٌّ بَابَهَا فَمَنْ أَرَادَ الْمَدِينَةَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ فَلْيَأْتِهَا مِنْ بَابَهَا. And I am the gate, city of knowledge, and Ali is the gate. Whoever wishes to enter into the city, then they have to enter through this gate, through this door. Another verse. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةٌ وَاسِطَةً لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَيَكُونُ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and we made you a medium nation, ummatun wasita, so that you may be a witness for the people and for the messenger. And so here the witness mentioned, the middle nation who was the witness was Ali ibn Abi Talib. He's the one who connects the people to Rasulullah, and that's what's mentioned in the hadith. He is the shaheed. Allah says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُنْذِرٌ وَلِكُلِّ قَوْمٍ حَادٍ. And He's addressing Rasulullah. Allah says, and you are a warner, and to every nation is a guide. And Rasulullah, when this verse came down, he said, yes, I am the warner for this nation, and the guide for this nation after me is Ali ibn Abi Talib. Another verse, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَمَنْ يَشْرِ نَفْسُهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْرِ نَفْسُهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ. And from amongst people, there is the one who sells his soul for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure. And this verse came down when Amir al-Mu'mineen slept in the bed of Rasulullah, even though there were 30 assassins coming to kill him. And everyone is familiar with this story. That Amir al-Mu'mineen he was ready to sacrifice himself in the most dangerous situation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loved this so much, He sent down this verse that amongst men there are some who sell their soul for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure. And this is Ali ibn Abi Talib. And I'll finish with one last verse and then I'll mention something else. And those, I'm sure everyone has read Dua Kamil. أَفَمَنْ كَانَ مُؤْمِنًا كَمَنْ كَانَ فَاسِقًا لَا يَسْتَوُونَ. And is the mu'min, this is the verse of Quran, is the mu'min like the fasiq? No, they're nothing alike. Who is the mu'min in this verse? This is Ali ibn Abi Talib. And the fasiq was one of the munafiqun, one of the kuffar, Walid ibn Aqaba. Walid ibn Aqaba, one day, he came to Amir al-Mu'mineen and he mentioned to him, he said that my lineage is better than your lineage. And he tried to put Ali ibn Abi Talib down. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought down this verse. أَفَمَنْ كَانَ مُؤْمِنًا كَمَنْ كَانَ فَاسِقًا. Do you think that the mu'min is like the fasiq? Walid ibn Aqaba, just to give you an idea of who this person was and how it relates to Amir al-Mu'mineen later as well. Walid ibn Aqaba is also the person Allah mentioned in the Quran when He says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِنْ جَاءَكُمْ فَاسِقٌ بِالنَّبَإٍ فَتَبَيَّنُوا. All those who believe, if a fasiq person, an untrustworthy person comes to you with a news, then verify it. Because Walid, Rasulullah, Walid was one of the people who became Muslim after conquest of Mecca. They call them from Tudaqa. The people who, they became Muslim because they had no other choice left. He didn't believe in Islam. And those people, sometimes Rasulullah had to deal with them politically because they wielded a lot of power in Arabia. And many of them, they wanted very important positions from Rasulullah. So Rasulullah gave him a job of going to a particular tribe and collecting the bay'ah from this tribe and collecting the taxes from this tribe. He had a problem with this tribe from before Islam. He went there and he saw the tribal people had come out. And either he did it on purpose or he got scared, thinking that they were going to come and take revenge from him from some old act. He came back to Rasulullah and he lied. He said, Ya Rasulullah, these people, they don't accept Islam and they wanted to kill me. And he was ready to bring the Muslims to war. And Allah mentioned this verse. So when you hear a news, He said, verify. This same person, this same Walid, he became the governor of Kufa during the time of Uthman, because he's the foster brother of Uthman ibn Affan. And it's very famous. Walid was a person, many of you have probably heard, it's a very famous historical account. He was leading the Fajr prayer in Kufa, and he prayed 4 rakats because he was so drunk. And when he was going into his ruku and into other parts of the prayer, instead of making dhikr of Allah, he started reciting poetry about wine and women. People started to complain. They went to Uthman, they said, we can't deal with this. This is too much. Not only this, Ibn Mas'ud, one of the Prophet's companions, he used to be the treasurer. When he was the treasurer under Uthman, Walid ibn Aqaba came and he received 300,000 dirhams from the treasurer supposedly as a loan. He never returned it. People went and they complained to Uthman, but Uthman was very reluctant to do anything. So they went to complain to many other people. Finally, they came and complained to Ali ibn Abi Talib. So Amir al-Mu'mineen, he went and he sat down with Uthman, and he pushed Uthman to finally say, okay, we have to punish Walid. They put him on trial. They said he's to be stripped of his position and he needs to be given 80 lashes. But nobody would enact the punishment. Everyone was scared because he's the foster brother of the Khalifa. Nobody wanted to do it because they're going to have a target on their back. So Amir al-Mu'mineen, he took that responsibility. Then when you think about this, now you will start to understand why there was so much hatred for Ali ibn Abi Talib. He was the only one who would enact justice. When he was Khalif, Imam Ali ﷺ was Khalif, one time Talha and Zubair brought some money to his home. They said, this is for the Bayt al-Mal. In the middle of the night they brought it. They said, keep it here and then tomorrow we'll take it to the Bayt al-Mal. Ali ibn Abi Talib said, do you wish for me to have fire in my house at night time? How dare you think that I, Ali ibn Abi Talib, will keep the people's money in my home overnight? This is Amir al-Mu'min, this is Ali ibn Abi Talib. This is the person we are remembering tonight. This is the man who was struck down in Masjid al-Kufa while he was in sajda by one of the most cursed and worst of all people. That even after this criminal struck him, he showed mercy to him. They brought him in chains to Ali ibn Abi Talib. He tied him. He said, loosen the ties on him. This is unjust. This is Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.